Okay, there's been some interesting developments around the ReZero anime since I posted my first video talking about the future of the anime. And the situation has legit done a full 180, and it's making everything I said in that video seem like I was trolling. Okay, firstly, I want to apologize for, disappearing. I said I was going to post in 2 weeks, and I kinda disappeared for 2 months, and I apologize for that. There's so many videos I want to make, and I'm back fully, I'm locked in, and yeah. Let's get into it. Now, I don't even know where to begin with this. So if you haven't already heard or seen, basically we got an announcement of 10 major projects happening in 2026, alongside ReZero getting a dedicated YouTube channel. This is very huge because in my guess, it implies that Kadokawa intends to start taking ReZero more seriously. And it really bothers me why this wasn't even the case to begin with, considering ReZero is Kadokawa's biggest IP. But the constant mismanagement, mistreatment, and disrespect that the anime adaptation receives doesn't at all reflect that. And it's actually crazy that there's never been a ReZero season with zero issues. And it genuinely hurts and sometimes pisses me off a little when I see some novel readers talk down on the anime adaptation. I hear some novel readers say that the anime is meh, or decent, or even good. I'm always baffled. In my humble opinion, the anime is good to great at its worst, and at its best, it outshines even the source material, which is no easy feat considering how good the ReZero novel is. Personally, I believe they are both masterpieces in their respective medium, but as a novel reader myself, I can understand the sentiment when they complain. The ReZero anime hasn't reached its highest level, which is insane, because I believe the anime is already masterful, and I also really think they slightly overestimate how much better the anime can be. Sure, there are some horrendous cuts that would have indeed made the anime better as a whole, but the anime in general gets the point across. And I believe the solution isn't as simple as dropping Studio White Fox, because what a lot of people need to understand is that most of the issues were out of White Fox's control. But it seems things are going to change for the better. Okay, it's a little disappointing to find out most of these 10 announcements or projects aren't really projects, or at least anime projects, and are just figurines and stream parties. But with 3 more announcements left, we can only hope it's something huge. Like anything from an ex-novel adaptation to ReZero getting a new studio. We just need something that secures the series after season 4. And talking about season 4, to me, it feels like the future of the anime rests on this very season, and it actually has the potential to make ReZero mainstream. It's not like season 4 specifically is supposed to save or redeem the anime adaptation. It's that the stars have aligned for it to do so. What I mean is that ReZero is in the best possible position for redemption, both production-wise and story-wise. When I say production-wise, things that were looking like inconveniences might actually turn out to be beneficial to the series. Like for example, season 3 getting cut short and causing Arc 6 to be delayed. Not only did it give them more time to iron out any issues with Arc 6, which obviously comes at the detriment of Arc 5. That is a trade-off I'll make any day of the week though. But the marketing and hype for season 4 has been absolutely unreal. Season 4 alone has 4 trailers, compared to season 3 which had non-existent marketing. I mean, people didn't even know it was airing at the time. Also, the 2026 release window, I saw a few people express slight concern about ReZero being overshadowed by more popular anime, which I think is a little bit extreme. But never mind that, the 2026 timeframe is actually starting to look like a blessing in disguise, due to it being a huge year for anime and media in general. I've seen a lot more people pick up ReZero in preparation for season 4. And all the stirs, memes, and edits, alongside the glaze that it's been getting, has really helped put it on more people's watch lists. And I believe season 4 is the best bet in bringing ReZero back into the spotlight, because of all the insane highs it has. And it might even have a potential internet-breaking moment. And currently, I don't even consider ReZero popular or influential enough to break the internet, as opposed to something like Jujutsu Kaisen. But the fact that I feel that there's a moment that even has that potential is a sign of great things to come. And whatever your opinion is on your favorite series becoming too popular, I'll always argue or say that the pros outweigh the cons, especially when it comes to a series as voluminous as ReZero. It's going to need all the money it can get, especially for after season 4. Which leads me into talking about the narrative aspect of saving ReZero's future, being that ReZero hasn't adapted its strongest arcs yet in my opinion, Arc 4 being the exception of course. Obviously Arc 6/season 4 is right around the corner. But until it starts airing, we're still at Arc 5, which is the perfect time for the anime to reassess and recover. There's been a lot of questionable content from ReZero that affects the quality of the story one way or another, even if it might not seem that huge. And the point where the anime is in the story, being Arc 5, is really the only period they can start reintroducing all the content
and it's still kinda making sense from an anime-only perspective, because most of the content doesn't really come into play until Arc 6. Like Subaru Sage candidacy still has an opportunity to be introduced, and can partially negate what was cut from Arc 4. Arc's content doesn't really come into play until the later arcs, so they can make an OVA for his side stories or include them when the anime gets to said arc. The Echidna revival, which was cut from season 2, can easily be attached to the Omega side stories and made into an OVA. And as for the Shadow Garden scenes, I guess we just have to move forward without the ones that have already been cut, but do well to include it from here on out, which the latest trailer basically confirms. Now, these might not be perfect solutions, but I honestly just think that this is a good way to handle what was left out of the anime. And this is the one advantage of the anime being so far behind the source material. All in all, season 4 has to do very well, because the arcs that come after are no joke. Arc 7 and 8 will need at the very least 50 episodes. What happened with Arc 4 can't absolutely repeat itself, and while I think Arc 9 can be done in 12 or 13 episodes, it would demand the highest level of animation ReZero might ever see. Obviously, I don't doubt ReZero Season 4 will do well. Don't ask me how, but I was able to see the second half of the first episode of Season 4, and it was extremely fast-paced, which is a good thing. The reason is that the very beginning of Arc 6 is really the only part of the arc where they're able to get away with the most BS. I think they can also partially make episode 2 fast-paced, then slow it down to a normal pacing after that, with an extreme attention to detail, because it's going to need it. And they can speed up some parts close to the end of the arc, and I'll also rather they speed up some fights than any other thing in this arc, but that's just me though. Judging by all the trailers we've gotten so far, although the latest doesn't really hold back on spoiling something huge in Arc 6, it's unlikely, but if you haven't seen it, I don't recommend watching it. But yeah, ReZero Season 4 looks set to be phenomenal, and it really isn't a question of if, but how big it will be, because this entire video is me emphasizing on why it has to be big. But I'm not gonna lie, it kind of feels like I'm bullshitting myself here, because ReZero is already popular enough to justify almost all the things I've suggested in this video. The new YouTube channel is sitting at 35,000 subscribers in less than a month, and every single Season 4 trailer has over 1 million views. And the latest trailer managed to get that in like 3 days. I just don't get why Kadokawa doesn't treat ReZero like a priority. I just want the anime to reach the point where important stuff doesn't have to be sacrificed, and so the anime onlys can get the full story. I'll even say that sometimes the novel readers don't even get the full story because of the sheer volume of side stories, which is my one gripe with ReZero. Doesn't take away from the quality of the story though. Man, this video took me longer than it had any right to. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Again, I'm sorry for disappearing, but I'm happy to be back, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.